Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel, Money Africa. So what is Money Africa about? We talk about how to make money, how to grow money, and how to build wealth sustainably. Today we have a very interesting topic. Can you just guess what that topic is? Da-da! It's actually called stock split. Stock split by guess who? Alphabet. Did you know that Alphabet is actually Google's parent company? So on the 1st of February, Alphabet announced that Google is going to have a stock split where they're going to give 20 shares for one. So that means that if you held one share of Google, all of a sudden you now have 20 shares. Now, what does this mean? Let's bring it back home. Let's say you have 10 Google shares, and let's say that one Google share is going for $3,000. What happens here now is that you do not have 10 shares anymore. Your shares are now 10 multiplied by 20. Remember the 20 for 1 split? So now you have 200 shares. But how about the price of your shares? Remember that it used to be $3,000 per one, but because of the stock split, each of those shares is now worth $150. How did we arrive there? We said $3,000 divided by 20. Then we arrived at 150. So now you have 20 multiplied by 10, that is 200 shares, and now each of those shares is now worth $150 instead of $3,000 because of a 20 for 1 split. So now it gets interesting. Remember, Google share was going for $3,000. Now it's $150 per share because of the stock split. Guess what happens? We have some psychological game going on here. People who previously couldn't access the stock because it was $3,000 are now like, oh my gosh, it's now $150. I want to buy it. I now have access to it. So now it has brought down the barrier. The barrier of access has been lowered, and now more people can access it. What happens here is that the demand is now higher while the supply stays the same. So now you're thinking, oh my gosh, more people now want it. Demand is higher, maybe supply stays the same. What is happening? You're now seeing a price increase, right? So whenever a stock split happens, there's usually a surge in the price of that stock, but it's not because of fundamentally that there was a stock split. It's more about the fact that now more people find the stock accessible, they find it within their reach, and they're now gravitating towards it. And that's basically what's happening, and that's where you now start seeing the price surge. Now, this announcement was made on the 1st of February. However, on the 3rd of February, the price has already surged by 4%, even though it has not yet been affected yet. What happened? Mindset. Oh yes, now it's more accessible, more people will buy Google, and then you see that the price of that particular stock was going up. So that's primarily what happened. But let's even bring it back home. Let's think of this. Think about the city that you're living in and look at the prime property. Think of a 4-bedroom terrace, right? Let's say that 4-bedroom terrace, for the sake of simplicity, let's say you lived in Lagos, it was going for $5 million. Now think of this. The developers now said, how about we start thinking about students or young people, or even new couples or young people that are working that they can afford it. So they started making studios for 1 million naira, the same size, nothing changes. So they're simply cutting that 4-bedroom terrace into one studio so that nothing changes. The size stays the same. It's literally just divided into 4. And then you start seeing people say, this all of a sudden, this thing now, let's say it was 1.2 million, because remember that we split 5 million into 4. Now it's 1.2 million, but because of demand and supply, people are now saying, whoa, I can actually pay 1.5 million for it, right? And then you start seeing that demand will now start making that price go up. And that's basically what is happening, demand and supply. I hope you found this interesting. Remember, whenever a stock split happens, your ownership does not change. So because you now have more shares does not mean you have a higher percentage in holding. No, your percentage of holding stays the same. However, you have more shares now. Do you know that there's also a reverse split? So a situation where you are getting 20 for 1 share, you could also have it the other way around. It's called a reverse split, right? Where instead of you having more shares, you now have less shares. So different circumstances, different goals, achieves different objectives. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you learned something. If you did, click here and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do you know that we have a paid community where we even teach you more? We're talking about cryptocurrency, NFTs, stock market, mutual funds, dollar denominated instruments, just name it. Our aim is for everyday person to be able to invest regularly and build wealth in the long run. We built this for you. In order to subscribe, you come on www.themoneyafrica.com. We cannot wait to have you join us. Thank you, and let's get this financial independence together.